October 16, 2024, News Report 1. On October 16, 2024, the Korean Central News Agency reported that North Korea saw 1.4 million young people apply to join or return to the military over the 2 days of October 14 and 15, expressing their determination to eliminate enemies through revolutionary weapons. It is reported that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is extremely angry about recent leaflets distributed via drones that expose his luxurious lifestyle. The North Korean authorities are venting Kim's anger through various means, with the latest initiative being a call for many young people to sign military enlistment petitions. However, the report did not specify the dates and locations of the photos taken. Whenever tensions rise between North Korea and the outside world, there tends to be a surge in young people applying for military service. For instance, the Korean Central News Agency reported last year that 800,000 youths volunteered to enlist to counter the U.S. However, the authenticity of these figures is often difficult to verify. Meanwhile, on October 16, 11 countries, including South Korea, the U.S., and Japan, announced the formation of a new multinational team to monitor the implementation of sanctions against North Korea. Apart from South Korea, the U.S., and Japan, the participating countries include France, the UK, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. South Korean Vice Foreign Minister Kim Hong-kyun stated that North Korea has repeatedly violated UN sanctions and that immediate measures must be taken to address this loophole. News Report 2. On October 14, U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump stated in an exclusive interview with Bloomberg that if elected, he would impose the highest tariffs in history on imported goods. Specifically, tariffs on goods imported from China would reach 60%, while those from other countries would be set at 20%. Trump also mentioned that he plans to impose tariffs of 100% to 200% on imported cars from Mexico and China, joking that they could even reach as high as 2,000%. Furthermore, he indicated that higher tariffs would be levied on Mexican businesses and American companies planning to relocate production overseas, aiming to force foreign companies to move their production bases to the U.S., revive American manufacturing, and reduce the trade deficit. Trump firmly believes that increasing tariffs will have a positive impact on the U.S. economy. During the interview, when the host asked Trump whether he would dispatch U.S. military forces to assist Taiwan in the event of a Chinese invasion, Trump did not provide a direct answer. Meanwhile, a poll released by Reuters and Ipsos on October 13 showed that Vice President Kamala Harris has a support rate of 45%, while Trump's support rate stands at 42%, with Harris leading by 3 percentage points. However, this difference falls within the margin of error, 4 percentage points, indicating that the competition is very fierce. Reuters' analysis pointed out that the key to this election lies in the voter turnout of both sides. Whoever has a higher turnout will have a better chance of winning. Additionally, the poll revealed that enthusiasm among Democrats for this year's election exceeds that of 2020. 86% of Democratic voters indicated that they would definitely vote, compared to 81% of Republican voters. In contrast, during the 2020 election, 74% of Democratic voters said they would vote, while the Republican figure was 79%. The enthusiasm among Democratic voters has increased in this election. On the other hand, according to documents disclosed by the Federal Election Commission on October 15, Elon Musk donated $75 million to Trump over the past 3 months, making him the largest financial supporter of Trump. News Report 3. According to Bloomberg, Chinese government hackers have successfully infiltrated critical infrastructure networks in the UK and have been lurking there for a long time, waiting for the right moment to act. Insiders revealed that these hacking activities are extensive, systematic, and have been ongoing for years. The targets of Chinese hackers include not only the UK Ministry of Defence, the Energy Department, government agencies, and the National Health Service, but also extend to cutting-edge technology companies. While the public was previously only aware of Chinese hackers infiltrating the UK Parliament and the Ministry of Defence, the actual number of infiltrations is much higher than known. It is reported that successive UK governments usually disclose only a portion of cyber attack incidents and do not reveal the full extent. MI5 Director General Ken McCallum stated that China's threat to the UK's security is different from that of Russia and Iran, and must be managed in conjunction with the economic relationship between the UK and China. Meanwhile, the UK Labour government is seeking to improve relations with China, with Foreign Secretary James Cleverly set to visit China soon. However, maintaining good relations with a country that has previously invaded its critical network infrastructure presents significant challenges. Public opinion suggests that the UK faces great difficulty in balancing security and economic interests, and the Labour government may endure substantial political pressure as a result. News Report 4. On October 16, Freedom House released a report indicating that China remains the country with the lowest level of internet freedom globally, marking the 10th consecutive year that China has ranked at the bottom of the list. This time, Freedom House surveyed 72 countries, covering 90% of global internet users. The report highlights that China lacks genuine internet freedom, evidenced by several factors. Firstly, China has established a powerful internet firewall, isolating Chinese netizens from the global internet. Users who utilize VPNs to bypass this firewall face hefty fines from the Chinese government. Secondly, the Chinese government strictly censors online speech, systematically eliminating any statements that threaten the ruling Communist Party and persecuting individuals who express dissent online. Thirdly, the government utilizes social media platforms to foster an extreme nationalist atmosphere, suppressing the freedom of ordinary netizens, leading many to refrain from expressing opinions online. Finally, foreign users are prohibited from accessing Chinese government websites. The report also states that the countries with the highest levels of internet freedom are Iceland, followed by Estonia, Canada, Chile, and Costa Rica. Additionally, the report specifically commends Taiwan's efforts in combating misinformation, noting that Taiwan has established a transparent, decentralized, and collaborative fact-checking mechanism that is worthy of global emulation. News Report 5. According to Radio France Internationale, on October 15, the Osaka Coast Guard reported that 2 Chinese Coast Guard ships entered the waters surrounding the Diaoyu Islands and approached a Japanese fishing vessel. Notably, the Chinese Coast Guard ships were equipped with machine guns and other weapons. Japanese patrol boats quickly took action to prevent the Chinese vessels from getting too close to the fishing boat, ensuring its safety. This incident occurred in the contiguous zone outside the Diaoyu Islands, where 2 additional Chinese Coast Guard ships were also patrolling nearby. In recent years, the frequency of Chinese Coast Guard activities in the waters around the Diaoyu Islands has gradually increased, making such incidents commonplace since May 2020. According to statistics from the Japanese Coast Guard, this is the 39th time that Chinese Coast Guard ships have entered Japan's territorial waters near the Diaoyu Islands. The Diaoyu Islands and their surrounding waters have long been a focal point of disputes between China and Japan, with such maritime standoffs exacerbating tensions in the region. News Report 6. On October 16, Hong Kong Chief Executive John Lee Ka-chiu delivered his third policy address since taking office, although many citizens remain largely unaware of its contents. The report focuses on several key areas. Firstly, Hong Kong has expanded the eligibility of the High-End Talent Pass scheme. 9 renowned universities from mainland China have been added, including Sichuan University and Beihang University, bringing the total number of eligible universities to 22. Since its introduction in 2022, the scheme has attracted 160,000 talents, mostly recent graduates from mainland universities, aimed at filling the talent gap left by the emigration of the middle class. Secondly, the report revised the requirements for investment immigration. Previously, applicants could only purchase commercial properties with a cap of 10 million Hong Kong dollars. The new regulations relax investment options, allowing applicants to buy residential properties worth over 50 million Hong Kong dollars. Meanwhile, the minimum investment amount for investment immigration is set at 30 million Hong Kong dollars, meaning that purchasing a property could meet the investment criteria. Thirdly, the policy address also announced a relaxation of mortgage policies. Under the new rules, the maximum mortgage ratio for all loans can reach 70%, removing restrictions on whether the property is for self-use or if it is the first purchase. Additionally, the applicant's mortgage expenditure should not exceed 50% of their income. Finally, Lee mentioned that Hong Kong will initiate a civil servant exchange program with cities in mainland China, including Beijing, Shanghai, Chongqing, and Wuhan, sending Hong Kong civil servants to the mainland for learning. This move has raised concerns among some citizens, fearing it is meant to strengthen ideological indoctrination of Hong Kong civil servants. This policy address aims to promote Hong Kong's economic recovery and attract talent, although some policies have sparked differing reactions and discussions among the public. News Report 7. According to the Discipline Times, on October 16, the Taipei District Prosecutor's Office summoned the chairman of the Taiwan People's Party, Ko Wen-jae, for the 5th time. On that day, Ko entered the prosecutor's office under the escort of court police, dressed in a yellow top, blue shorts, and blue and white slippers, without wearing glasses. He appeared thin and serious. The prosecutor had previously summoned Ko on October 1, but he refused to appear. This interrogation aims to confirm whether the funds were funneled to Ko or the People's Party as political donations, particularly concerning the interests related to the Jin Huiqing corruption case. Taiwanese lawyer Huang Dai analyzed Ko's case, stating that he is now suspected of 3 crimes, with a high likelihood of conviction. Bribery. Huang stated that the USB drive Ko wore around his neck recorded evidence of him receiving 15 million new Taiwan dollars from Shenqing Jin, chairman of the Weijing Group, and 2 million new Taiwan dollars from the family of Keelung Mayor Xie Guoyang. This behavior constitutes bribery, which could carry a maximum life sentence. Violating Political Cash Act, the second charge involves Ko's failure to deposit Xie Guoyang's family's funds into the People's Party's political cash account, violating Taiwan's Political Cash Act. This crime could result in a maximum sentence of 3 years. Breach of trust. The third charge relates to Ko's failure, as the party head, to include the funds recorded on the USB drive in the political cash account, constituting breach of trust. This crime could carry a maximum sentence of 5 years. Huang believes that Ko is unlikely to escape these 3 charges, and the seriousness of the case may significantly impact Ko's future political career. This legal dispute has disappointed Ko's supporters, particularly the grassroots, little grass, of the People's Party, who feel that the political figure they trusted might be involved in corruption. News Report 8. According to the Guangzhou Daily, the 133rd Canton Fair officially opened on October 15 and will continue until November 4. The number of Chinese enterprises participating in this year's fair reached 30,000, an increase of 800 compared to the spring fair. Among these, approximately 29,400 are export companies, and 4,600 are first-time exhibitors. Due to poor market conditions, many companies chose to participate in the fair to secure orders. As a result, the Canton Fair adjusted its standards for exhibitors, allowing companies with poor export performance but strengths in product digitization or other areas to exhibit, thereby lowering the entry threshold. As of October 9, the number of pre-registered foreign merchants from 203 countries reached 125,000, with countries related to the Belt and Road Initiative accounting for 75.7%, while European and American countries made up only 12.5%. A representative from a projector manufacturing company noted that despite facing competition from high-priced Japanese products, their products still have a competitive edge in the Middle Eastern and South American markets. News Report 9. According to the Daily Economic News, on October 15, private equity tycoon Dan Bin and internet celebrity economist Ren Zeping were banned from Weibo and had their accounts suspended. Dan Bin's WeChat video account was also prohibited from being followed, while Ren Zeping's WeChat public account and video account face similar bans. The last Weibo post from Dan Bin was on October 14, while Ren Zeping's last post was on the evening of October 13, coinciding with the day of their dispute. Dan Bin is the founder of the private equity fund Dongfang Gangwon, with 13 million followers on Weibo. Ren Zeping, a former chief economist at Evergrande, currently has 5.5 million Weibo followers and has served as the deputy director of the Macroeconomic Research Office at the State Council Development Research Center. Recently, Ren Zeping has been continuously releasing optimistic analyses of the stock market, encouraging the public to invest, while Dan Bin has been warning about investment risks and advising the public to be cautious. This incident has attracted attention, with many interpreting it as an attempt by authorities to suppress discussions about the economy and stock market to avoid unnecessary social risks. The differing content and style of their debate have been viewed as a restriction on open discussion, reflecting the current tense situation regarding economic policy and market confidence. News Report 10. According to NHK, on October 15, Japan's Ministry of the Environment raised the nationwide response level for avian influenza to the highest level. This decision was prompted by the discovery of 2 cases of avian influenza virus in Hokkaido on September 30 and October 8. The ministry has urged local governments to strengthen monitoring of wild bird activity and enhance investigations into the virus. The Ministry of the Environment has reminded the public to wash their hands and rinse their mouths after coming into contact with bird droppings, emphasizing that if wild bird carcasses are found, they should not be directly handled and local government departments should be contacted immediately. This measure aims to prevent the spread of the avian influenza virus and ensure public health and safety. News Report 11. According to the Nikkei, data released by U.S. research firm IDC on October 14 indicated that global smartphone shipments reached 320 million units in the third quarter of 2023, a year-on-year increase of 4%. Among major brands, Samsung maintained its top position with shipments of 57.8 million units, a decrease of 2.8%, giving it a market share of 18.3%. Despite failing to achieve growth in the Chinese market, Samsung remains the best-selling smartphone brand globally. Following closely is Apple, with shipments of 56 million units, a year-on-year increase of 3.5%, and a market share of 17.7%. The iPhone 15 has performed well, especially with strong sales continuing even after the launch of the new iPhone 16. Xiaomi ranks third with shipments of 42.8 million units, a growth of 3.3%, Oppo is fourth with 28.8 million units shipped, a growth of 5.9%, and Vivo is fifth with shipments of 27 million units, achieving a remarkable growth rate of 22.8%. Chinese manufacturers continue to experience growth in emerging markets, particularly in Southeast Asia, demonstrating strong market performance. News Report 12. On October 16, Taiwan Straits Exchange Foundation Vice Chairman Luo Wenjia visited Daikyu Island in Matsu and announced plans to donate a pair of sika deer to the Fuzhou Zoo, named Hihi Pingping. He stated that this gesture aims to convey a desire for peace across the Taiwan Strait. Luo Wenjia mentioned that the Chinese military conducted military exercises around the Taiwan Strait on October 14, making the prospects for peace seem more distant, and thus hoped to enhance cross-strait relations through this symbolic action. These sika deer originate from Daikyu Island, which is home to over 200 sika deer, all bred after being released from the Taipei Zoo in the 1980s, becoming a significant feature of Daikyu Island. President Lai Ching-te has adopted proactive policies towards mainland China during his term, demonstrating a willingness to communicate with the mainland in various ways. The donation of the sika deer is part of this strategy. Luo Wenjia's statement reflects Taiwan's desire to promote peaceful relations across the strait through friendly symbolic actions, even amid current tensions.